lost in their mind, lost in time. Won't read the signs in this rhyme, so they try to bind two souls without the ancient scrolls, while the death toll grows out of control. Sold like a slave, while your ancestors died untimely deaths and tossed in their grave. Listen to what the ancients say. Look within or do without. The church is your body, the temple is your mental. So know thyself, beyond a shadow of a doubt.
The violence in the hood is killing the good, causing our people to be misunderstood. But I'm not hiding my face, I'm standing up cause we dividing the race with all the sets we spread all over the place. Colors and dope, we substituting for the whip and the rope, keeping the black in the back when most of us broke. I'm trying to cope, sit back and smoke till Armageddon approach. I hope when judgment come, our people don't choke. Some of us woke, but still too many get caught up on the boat, weighing us down with hate, that's why we can't float. We all got a drug, liquor, cracker, living life like a thug. It's all addictive and it's twisting our love. The vision ain't right when it causes us to argue and fight. Even kill, I see no healing in sight. I'm not gonna shout, but most of us sell out for money and clout and say they bout it, but don't know what they bout. That's straight. Some say they bout it, but don't know what they bout. Some say they bout it, but don't know what they bout. Some say they bout it, but don't know what they bout. Some say they bout it, but don't know what they bout. Say they bout it, but don't know what they bout. Some say they bout it, but don't know what they bout. Some say they bout it, but don't know what they bout.
About shootings. What happens if you're in the car with someone who wants to do a drive-by shooting? You know you don't want to be a part of that. Someone could be killed. Someone could be maimed. You could be sent to jail. You would have a criminal record. What should you do? How do you get out of this and save face?
Drive-by shootings. Some people seem to think that that's fun. What would you do if you were in the car? What would you tell them to save your face?
I think I told them that I needed to be home by a certain time, and it was getting to be near that time, and see if they believed me. I would probably start being real, trying to act funny about it and try to joke about it. If they weren't serious, try to keep the seriousness off of it.
What would you do if you were in the car and they was getting ready to do a drive-by shooting? What would you do? How would you handle that?
I definitely would discourage them from doing that with just some cold hard facts in terms of what our incarceration numbers are like, what the likelihood of our being incarcerated is. Talk to them about some cold hard statistics, and statistics don't always necessarily work, but in situations like this, you can more than likely, if someone's considering a drive-by shooting, then you may be in a neighborhood or an area where this is frequently happening, and more times or more often than not, they're likely to even know someone who's already in jail. So I can cite case examples. Oh, you remember such and such down the street. You remember he got 30 years. Oh, you remember, your cousin, you remember he got life. And these are real life situations that hopefully would, serve as a deterrent in terms of someone doing that, especially if they know someone who's been convicted for that very crime.
Would you consider that they might turn the gun on you?
Absolutely.
What would you do about that?
Absolutely. That's what I want to comment on. When you have a drive-by situation that's in process, anytime you have someone who wants to bail out at the last minute, then everyone who's going to go through with it, they no longer look at you as a part of their peer group as much as they look at you as a potential witness. So if you're not part of us and if you're not pulling the trigger, that's one person we got to worry about testifying in the court of law about us. So that's going through your mind when you're trying to get out the car. So that's definitely a concern you have to make and honestly address. Will they finish this drive-by and then come shoot up my house because I wasn't rolling with them when they did it? Yeah, so that's definitely a dangerous factor that needs to be considered.
If you were in the car and you had no idea that this was about to happen when you got in the car and you come to realization that they're getting ready to do a drive-by, would you actually stay in the car? Would you jump out? Would you try to snatch the keys? What would you do? What would you do?
Now, actually, that one is a very difficult decision for me because, as he said, you're thinking about trying to get out of this situation, but yet you're thinking about your own life, your own safety, and I think personally anybody who would be cold enough to even consider a drive-by just might do anything to me too. I just hope I would do the right thing in that situation, but I don't know what it might be except to try to appeal to their better judgment. Do you realize, you're taking a life, or this is somebody's son, or this is somebody's brother, or how would you feel if it were your, loved one who is the victim? And just hope that it would turn out okay, but that would be a very difficult decision for me.
You know the word friends, and my daughter often tell me that these are my friends, but how do you qualify someone to know whether they will or won't? Is there a way we can measure them or before we get in the car with them? Or how would you know? How would you qualify someone?
I don't have any idea. I think somebody would have to teach me what to look for in a friend.
How would you qualify?
I think the moral to this story is an option that's not necessarily presented in the scenario, and I would hope that what we take away from this is choosing your friends carefully. I mean, God forbid you're in the car, it's a little late, to be rolling with the friends that are considering a drive-by. So I think the way to approach it is you looking at who you surround yourself with, who you choose to spend your time with, and more than likely, these probably weren't schoolboys who went to class regularly and attended. There were probably some definite telltale signs before then, maybe not that stark, but I think it's up to you individually to carefully choose those people you surround yourselves with, and generally, if you look for people who are, sort of on their thing and on point, then that's a much better option for you in the long run.
What I personally would do, what I have done, I'm not saying I've been with gang members, but I've been with guys who have went out to do wrong, and I knew it was wrong. What I've done is that I have developed my own plan. Well, John, I'll ask them, what do you plan to do? And they'll tell me what are you going to do? And they'll tell me what they're going to do. So I'll tell you, well, this is what I'm going to do. I have to be somewhere in the next 10 minutes. So I'll just meet you guys in 20 minutes, wherever you want to meet. We'll establish a place where we want to meet. And I'll meet you during, but I have to go take care of this business first.
Drive-bys. This is something that we see, or we live around, or we hear about. This is not something that is only on TV. It is real. Stay tuned, more to come.
That's straight. Say they got it, but don't know what they got. Straight. Some say they got it, but don't know what they got. Straight.